Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first World Edition of TCI, the Channel of Peace in Cote d'Ivoire. We now welcome Minister Patrick Achi, the government spokesman, to our World TCI Edition. Welcome, Minister Patrick.
Good evening.
It's been a long battle since the elections took place in November 28. Can you tell us a few words about that?
Yes, what you have to know is that these elections were free and fair, really. And the participation rate went way above 80%, which is not something usual.
Absolutely.
That's why most of the people were surprised when Laurent Gbagbo refused to step down after he was told that he lost election and Alassane Ouattara was the elected president.
Yeah.
The other important thing you have to keep in mind is that there was something called the certifier that you don't see usually in such elections.
Yeah.
Most of the political leaders didn't trust each other and didn't trust the institution in charge of organizing these elections.
Yeah.
That's why during the negotiation, when they went to Pretoria,
South Africa,
they all agree on the fact that they need someone, a third independent party, that will also supervise the election
and step in, so that if someone who lost doesn't want to recognize, then this guy will say exactly what is the position of the third independent party. And that's what happened, you know. When we got to the first round of these elections, Gbagbo was leading. Alassane came first, President Alassane came second, and Bédié came third. Everything went fine, the certifier certified. When we went to the second round of the election, then Gbagbo lost the election. And the Electoral Independent Commission and the Constitutional Council didn't agree on one position. One said President Gbagbo won, and the other one said that Alassane Ouattara has won and was the elected president. That's how the certifier, who was appointed by the Secretary General of the United Nations, stepped in, recount the vote, and said, my position is Alassane Ouattara has won. So that actually explained the quick recognition internationally.
That's right. From there on, since all parties agree on that procedures, Laurent Gbagbo should have stepped down, and he refused to do so. But that's why the international community, the United Nations, the European Union, recognized so easily Alassane Ouattara as the elected president of Cote d'Ivoire.
So, Mr. Minister, from there, you got stuck in a hotel for 4 months.
That's right.
And no army forces, no institutions, no banking. A lot of people actually did not expect you guys to leave longer than 3 months in that hotel. Tell me about a strategy actually you actually took to conquest the power, the full power.
You have to know, you really have to know one thing, which is that the power of a dictator rely on 4 key pillars. The first one is diplomacy. He has control over the diplomacy. Second, he has control over the finance. Third, he has control over the media, the state media. And fourth, he has control of the army, the forces. As long as he has these 4 key pillars, he controls everything and you can do nothing. Wow. So that's why we realized that for us, getting back to full power meant going after each of these pillars.
And
we knew that it will be a fierce battle. You know. First one was diplomacy. You know. We had, as I say, the European Union, the United Nations, and then also the ECOWAS, the regional body recognition.
Yes.
You know. But then he really wanted to do anything he could, and he went to see some country, friend of him, Angola,
and
South Africa,
absolutely,
to try to send the battle to the African Union. And we went all the way over there. They came back or did some more investigation. But at the end of the day, the whole African country recognized that Laurent Gbagbo has lost this election. Then Ouattara was the winner. And then from there on, he was completely diplomatically isolated.
I see. And what about the finances?
The finance was another battle. You know, normally after he was designated the elected president, the governor of the central bank should have recognized his signature.
Yeah.
But the guy refused to do so because he was appointed by Laurent Gbagbo.
Wow.
So we had to battle all the way up to the highest level of the central bank body, which was the head of state conference.
Yeah.
We went there, and the governor of the central bank was forced to resign, and signature of public finance was granted to Alassane Ouattara. So he therefore lost control over the finance. That was a key turning point.
Which was a really key. What about the media? I think they try to play with the media and all that, right?
As you know, in our countries, media is so important. And here, in our case, he had control over the state media. He was giving all this hatred message, violence,
calling for
lies, calling from killing, propaganda, so on and so forth, brainwashing all these kids. And it was really bad. But the worst thing was that they were sending messages like Alassane Ouattara was dead, he fled in another country, and all our people down there had no way to listen to us, to say that was wrong, you know.
So you guys had to realize you needed TV and a radio channel.
We need, you know, there was we had two choices. Yeah. Either to go and scramble his signal, or to create our own TV and radio. Yeah. And we knew that one way or the other, down the line, sometimes we might need also a TV or radio to be heard. So finally the decision we took was to create our own TV and radio station, and that's what we did.
So that had a lot of impact on the way things went on.
Such an impact you cannot imagine, because finally people could see their leader, people could see the president, they could hear him, he sent messages, and it was a key turning. That gave them so much strength that it changed really the whole structure of the battle. We really have people backing us up. They were listening to our messages, going on the street to march peacefully, and you know, the battle was really on then.
On the army front, the control of the army, I understand Alassane Ouattara won about 63%. Can you tell me a little bit about that, about the control of power?
Yeah, last but least, the fourth pillar, key pillar, was the army. Was the army. And we knew that through the result of the election, we knew that 63% of this army was backing up Alassane Ouattara.
I see.
But now, how to turn it into our favor in this battle for controlling the army?
It's a matter of time.
What he did was that the army, the regular army, was not given weapons or munition. Most of the weapons, heavy weapons, were given to militia and to the mercenaries. So the army people themselves were afraid. They were terrified that these people could use it against them. Some of them were threatened to be shot, killed, and they couldn't move. They were waiting for us to start any kind of military action to join. And, you know, and finally, that was what happened. And as you realize, during this battle of the control of the country, and even Abidjan, none of the army people got into the fight. He was just left alone with his mercenaries and the militiamen. And that's what helped, you know, control the whole situation.
Now, tell me, was it really necessary to use the force to oust Laurent Gbagbo?
Yes, we had no other choice but to use force.
It was a last resort, basically.
Yes, because we exhausted all peaceful means, you know. For 4 months, delegation after delegation coming from all over the world, ECOWAS, African Union, international community, to ask him to step down peacefully, you know, offering him to have amnesty, to have a specific former head of state advantages, so on and so forth, but he wouldn't accept.
And some of you actually knew that he will never step down, but only with forces.
Yeah, some of us, a lot of us, really knowing him for a couple of years, knew that at the end of the day, he wouldn't accept to surrender. He wouldn't accept to step down. And at the end of the day, only force will have him step down. We knew it.
Okay. Now, was the implication of the United Nations operations and the French forces a good one? And if you believe it was a good one, why?
You really have to know that it's not only the United Nations or the international community, but two people really
played a very key role.
Yeah, 2 people played a very key role. In that, the president of France, Sarkozy, President Obama, and I should also add Jonathan Goodluck, the president of Nigeria, and the all West African body, Blaise Compaoré too. All these 3 to 4 people really played a key role in the process. And the United Nations operation in Cote d'Ivoire, as well as the French forces, got into the military action through a mandate of the United Nations, the 1961, the resolution.
The 1975.
The 1975, you're right, to prevent further killing of innocent civilians. He was using heavy weapon against unarmed civilians. Women, you know, in Abidjan, it was really a nightmare. More than 1,000 people, I mean, minimum, more than 1,000 people got killed, you know, burned alive, women shot at from tanks, children raped, any kind of things you can imagine. It was a real nightmare. People were terrified, hiding in their house, fleeing, not knowing what to do. And for more than 2 weeks, people had no food, no electricity, no water supply, no nothing, you know. And you know, we were really at the verge of a humanitarian catastrophe.
Well, I see. Some serious allegations have emerged regarding the mass killing in Cote. That seems to have happened around the time the forces, the Republican forces, got into Cote. What is your take on these allegations, Mr. Minister?
What you have to know is that Cote is at the very border of Liberia.
Neighboring country.
Neighboring country. And that's where Laurent Gbagbo was recruiting his mercenaries and militiamen. They have been perpetrating killing over there long time before
we actually got there.
The Republican forces came there, you know. And we raised the issue, we pointed out the problem, and called from the United Nations, from all humanitarian organizations, saying there's something going there, you should go and look for it. But the situation was such a disaster over there that none of these organizations could even get close to these places to see what was really going on. And when the Republican forces came, the killings were done somehow. And while they were there, as we said, we have no knowledge of mass killing. But what President Ouattara is standing for, he gave an address, you know. He was really shocked by what was said happened in Cote. If it were true that all these people were really killed.
And he pledged, I believe, for transparency.
He pledged for transparency,
accountability,
for accountability. And he called upon all the international organizations, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights Division of the United Nations, all of them, to come down and investigate openly, freely, and tell what really happened. He appointed himself, he asked for the Justice Department in Cote d'Ivoire to also investigate, and they have started investigation. We all want to know what happened. We were so shocked from what we heard that if this is true, whoever did it, and President Ouattara was clear on that matter, being his brother, whoever it is, whoever did it, he's going to bring it to justice.
So President
Ouattara pay the price.
So President Ouattara is very serious about the violence against any person who lives in Cote d'Ivoire.
He is extremely serious about it. You know, I mean, in a normal country, in a normal environment, from now on, you know, he will be after anyone who will commit. The life is sacred. We cannot play with anyone's life. Now we're talking about hundreds of lives. Heck, how can someone accept that in a country like ours?
Absolutely.
I think he has been so shocked, and I really want to insist on that. We are the first one to be shocked. We saw what happened to Abidjan. You know, it was, like I say, a nightmare, something that is not acceptable. You have images that if you see, you wouldn't sleep for days and days.
Absolutely.
And we are being told that in Cote it was worse than that. How can we even imagine? Whoever did it is going to pay the price, and a heavy price. The sanction has been severe so that never ever someone will start this thing again. Impunity will not exist anywhere in this Cote d'Ivoire country, and that's what Alassane Ouattara is standing after.
Now that Mr. Laurent Gbagbo is captured, what do you intend to do with him?
We intend to bring him to